So welcome. Good evening, everybody. My name is Brad Warren. I'm a business coach and seminar leader. And the best advice that I can give you on how to do a really great presentation comes from the advice that a mother whale gave to her little baby whale. She said, it's when you're spouting that you're most likely to get harpooned. Now, I know we're in Berkeley, and that's probably not a politically correct joke. Obviously, since nobody laughed at the joke, then it's really not a joke, but I think it makes the point. When you're not prepared and you're just gushing and you're just spouting, you are likely to not do as well as if you had prepared. How many of you would agree with that? Just by a show of hands. All the hands went up. Great. Well, again, my name is Brad Warren. I'm a business coach and seminar leader. On the coaching side, I work with entrepreneurs and sole proprietors, mostly real estate agents, though lately, as we all know, that's probably not a great place to be focusing my marketing efforts. So I do a lot of work on that side, in the coaching side, one-on-one, unsticking stuck people is what I do on the coaching side. And on the training side, I go into large and small corporations, nonprofits, even places like this, meetup groups, and I do presentations. I do things like time management, customer service, negotiation skills, things like that. I have a couple presentations coming up in October in those categories. Everything you're going to hear me say is my opinion. Whose opinion?
Your opinion.
My opinion. So run it through your own set of filters, run it through your own brain. If you like it and it makes sense, use it, steal it, modify it. If you don't like it, if you're doing something that's even better, raise your hand and let me know, because I get as much out of the audience as far as my learning as you will hopefully get from me. So I really want to make it more participatory and interactive. By the way, when I ask questions, they are not rhetorical. They do require hand raising. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
That was a good time to practice. I want to see hands going up. And as far as Q&A, I don't mind being interrupted. So it's okay to ask questions as we go along. We're not going to wait till the end and do a formal Q&A at the end. And by the way, that's just a little tip, little side note. That's something you probably want to set up at the beginning of your speech. Always let the audience know, should they be writing it down on little cards and passing them in? Should they be asking as you go along? Should they be saving them up for the end? That's a little tip at the very beginning, is kind of set the stage for the audience so they know when it's appropriate to ask questions and when it's not. I am going to be talking if you think I'm talking fast now, it's going to speed up a little bit more. Like Patrick said, this is normally a 2-hour presentation that's going to be done in probably about 45 to 50 minutes. One thing that I like is that research shows that fast talkers are evaluated on the evaluation forums as more intelligent than slow talkers. You're going to think I'm brilliant because I'm going to be going a mile a minute. If I go too fast and you miss something and you want me to repeat it, then you do need to wave your hand. Brad, slow down. Could you just say that again? And I'll be happy to do that. So keep that in mind. Couple of quick ground rules. Cell phones on stun or vibrate. Please reach in your bag now, double check, make sure that they're off. It's very distracting to a speaker, as I'm sure you know. By the way, how many of you have done public speaking before? Let's just get a show of hands. Whoa, what are you guys doing here then? You're all out there learning, doing it already, so that's great. What is it, the thing about death, when they do that list? Death is like number 4. They ask people what you're most afraid of, and death is like number 4. Public speaking is number 1. Which means that people would rather be in the box than giving the eulogy. I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me. Rather be dead than up in front. I personally, as you can probably tell, I love speaking in public. My first public speaking was around age 4. I actually gave a little speech at some event. My parents actually have a film, one of those 8mm films, and they pull it out, and I, at one point in the film, I went like this. I grabbed my underwear, and I kind of went like this. It's on camera. I've got it at home. Not something I'm proud of, but I've been speaking since I was 4, and I'm actually 57 now. So I've been doing this for a while. It's over a half a century now. Boy, that sounds really old when I say it that way. All right, a couple of things about openings. I started, what was the way that I opened? What did I use? Anybody remember? A little quote. The quote about the what? Anybody remember about the whale? I gave you a little thing about the whale. A couple of you introduced yourself here with how many of you, and then you raised your hand and you tried to get the audience, and I say try because not everybody participated, but you said, how many of you, blah, blah, blah. So that's another possible opening. Yeah, again, because of the time frame, as I think of things, I'm just going to spit them out. My wife once said that I do not have a stop sign between my brain and my lips. I think it, I say it. It's just going to come out. So normally I don't talk about openings, but it just occurred to me I want to make sure that another form of opening that many people do is they come on the stage, they get real centered, and they say, great, how many of you want more money? By the way, remember, none of my questions are rhetorical. How many of you want more money? Great. And how many of you want more happiness? And how many want both? And notice, it just gets the energy going, it gets people involved, gets them raising their hand. So that's another possible opening. So you can start with a quote, a story, a joke of some kind, or how many of you, and then fill in the blank. And of course, make it appropriate to whatever it is that you're speaking about that evening. All right, great. So quick definition of the word presentation. I like to be very clear in my coaching, in my use of language. The dictionary definition of the word presentation, this is not in your notes, so you probably want to start writing somewhere. It's a giving, a gift, a bringing forward, an offering to be considered. That's what a presentation is. I'm offering something to be considered. This is my gift to you. An offering to be seen, a showing, a formal introduction. That's the dictionary definition of the word presentation. To present is to make an offering to the audience. So keep that in mind. All right, go to the first page. We're going to do this very, very quickly. It says the qualities and characteristics of a great presenter. Now, time out. I'm going to stop for a second. Normally, I would do a 4-step process at this point. You do a little bit of lecture, so you might want to write this down. By the way, when I said you might want to write this down, that's called flagging. I flagged it. I got your attention, and all of a sudden your pen got ready to write. So you might want to write this down. Or some of you, maybe even more powerfully, you would say, if you got nothing else out of this presentation, here's the one thing I want you to remember. That kind of way of doing things is called flagging. So I'm getting your attention. Normally, it's lecture, followed by a writing. So people would actually write individually. Then paired sharing, just turn and find a partner, A and B, A go first, 30 seconds, and then a debrief. Has everybody got that? So it's a lecture, writing, paired sharing, and a debrief. We're going to go right into debrief. Not going to do the lecture. So I just want to hear from some of you in the audience, just shout them out. What are some of the qualities and characteristics of a great presenter?
Energy.
Energy.
Humor.
Great, I'll try to write as quickly as I can. Humor.
Wit.
Is that the English? By the way, it's Winston Churchill who said that it's an uncreative mind that cannot think of more than one way to spell an English word. So you may see some very creative spelling. Okay, so I heard wit. What else? Engaging. And tell me a little bit more, if they're engaging, what are they doing or saying that makes you feel like they're engaging?